could,
Is that correct though, Mike? I thought it was always half of the half plus one. That's how we've always, I mean, I guess, I don't know what the notes say, but I always thought it was supposed to be half plus one to be a quorum.
yeah, I'm just, I'm going, and, oh, you know, it might be an old, wait a minute. We are
Well,
1,
what are we,
2,
11?
3, 4, 5,
11, 12.
6, 7, 8,
Well-
9, 10. No, we're only 11.
Well, you got to always include John Burrell, and that's what, off the record, I wanted to talk about that because
Yeah.
Jim, you and I were supposed to go over there
Yeah,
and get together with him.
that's right.
So what, are you
Oh.
calling the meeting
We'll set
together
up
or? Because we're really not 1+.
Right, you're 6, you're 50%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't be a
5.5.
member tonight. You can go.
Yeah,
I
where's
think-
Henry? Where's Steve? I
Yeah.
thought Steve was coming, but, God, who's,
Start texting.
Yeah.
Dan's not on, I mean, Dave's not on there either.
oh, that's right.
I don't know where he is. So. Bob, I don't even know if Bob's around. Not you, Robert.
Yeah. The other,
Bob
Yeah, the
Powell
new
is
member, Bob.
back, but, at least his car's back.
Okay, but he's not back.
I think I've seen Liz, but I haven't seen him.
I saw Bob.
Hey, Jim, when do you think you want to maybe try to go have a discussion with him?
we could, you want to go maybe Sunday or of the weekend or you want to do it during the week one night?
I'm up for either one of them.
I'll turn off
Depends
the
on what,
recording since this is not a real meeting yet.
we don't have Steve yet, right?
No, but we're official as of 7:20. The meeting
7:20.
has begun.
Okay. So we've called the meeting to order. So the minutes of the last meeting, is there anything, any adjustments, deletions, additions, edits?
I didn't have any.
I don't, I mean, I don't think there aren't, I didn't get anything in from anybody.
I move we accept.
All right.
A second?
Okay.
All in favor?
Oh,
Aye. All right, so moved. Okay.
Apologize, Mike. Jesus.
Oh, there's Steve.
No worries.
Sorry. Apologize.
Bye, Steve.
Yeah, no
Hey,
worries.
Steve, you're all wet.
I am actually.
And that's a metaphor.
Well, I had no power at the restaurant after I left that inland wetlands thing, Mary.
Oh, no. Oh, God.
I don't know. That's so, whatever. Now,
All right. So we don't have any guests this evening, no audience of citizens. Communications, any communications?
Yes, Mike, we had that question that Glenn Keegan had.
Oh, yeah. Where
And-
What was this question?
Glenn was concerned, number one, about the markers on the island. People had been asking him about the fact, could we possibly, excuse me, guys, I'm sorry. Could we possibly put something nicer looking than the orange tank that's out there? And he said, so he came to me and he said, can you bring it up at LMAC? And I said, yes, I would. And then the other part of his email was about the boat ramp and the depth of the boat ramp when you're putting in the boat. So I went back and I looked through our notes of when we were talking about that boat ramp and extending the boat ramp so it'd be easier for people to put their boats in. And he's saying it needs to be deeper because people, when the water is low, can't get their boats in. And so that was a concern. And so we wanted to know how we were going to address those.
So I guess, does anybody want to comment on markers?
Is there some sort of a regulation or guideline from the state that would prevent us from doing that? I recall Henry giving some history about trying to get new ones, and it may interfere with whatever state guidelines there are for these types of markers, which is why we've always kind of kept the barrels. I think we'd have to check into that, but I think Henry has that information. Bob Paulo, do you remember that or recall that?
I do not recall that, but standard navigation would say that it's going to be a white buoy with a diamond-shaped orange marker on it that would say danger or rock. Those are standard issued by the U.S. Coast Guard up and down the Connecticut River on Long Island Sound, that thing. The one we have right now is not a standard issued buoy, but it has served its purpose well for the 17 years I've been on the lake.
It's been around a while.
Yeah.
What about just a paint job?
Yeah,
Well, I mean, I think all the,
Paint it white with the red diamond and right danger. I mean, that's what I've typically seen too, is a
yeah.
red diamond that's danger on it.
Why
I
don't
don't
we,
think we want to get the DEP involved or anything like that. So if we wanted to get a better one, just do it. What do you think?
well, why don't we just run it by Henry and just get his blessing on it and see what, what he thinks. And I mean, we could table this. I don't know that it's anything that's super urgent.
right.
Well, if you just want the proper buoy purchased, we can do that and install it.
Well, yeah, before you say that, it may be a little bit more, it's not really a buoy. I think it's more of a
Mark,
pylon with the reflective, triangular marker on it.
Right.
Oh, no, those are day markers. Those are navigation aids, the ones you're thinking of, Mike.
Oh, okay.
This would be a white buoy with a diamond-shaped orange outline, and then underneath it, it would say rock or danger or sunken treasure, something like that.
Stay away.
So how would it float? I mean, would there be a number of them that would go around it, or?
on a pole?
Usually there's one, but there's a structure right now that the Public Works has built that is anchored with concrete onto the bottom of the surface with a vertical rod, and then the orange marker is placed on top of that, which I think is a great way of doing it. I mean, I think it's a great
It's
thing.
clearly marking an island of danger.
Here, here.
Sign on the marker that says "Do not tie up to this navigation aid," because that's against the rules as well.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's happening a fair amount of time lately.
Well,
It's
that-
not just people anchoring.
That's a Marine Patrol issue,
Mm. Well, we can bring it up then.
Yep. I
Yeah.
agree.
Mike, your
So-
suggestion of tabling this, my concern would be also the reflection at night to something that's white that may or may not be seen. So maybe we should just involve Henry.
So, are you thinking about one of these, Bob?
Yeah, it's the any of the white ones are the ones that usually are used.
So not the channel markers or the hazard warning symbol?
That's the one right there.
Yeah, right, that one.
That's
This
the
one?
And usually it'll say rock or shoal or sandbar, something like that.
Oh,
Well-
yeah, right. Yeah, it says standard messages, rock, danger, shoal, shallow area, hazard area.
All of the above.
All
What
of
is
the
it?
above.
Isn't that typically white and red?
It's white with an orange diamond.
Oh, an orange diamond, okay.
And is that one floating?
Those are usually floating, just as the red and green markers would be floating.
Oh,
So would it,
We don't have to use it, a floating one. We could attach it somehow to the
can you
vertical
attach it?
that's already there.
okay,
The other option is to put some reflective tape. on the barrels and be done with it. I mean, I think the barrels are great, you know?
I would just tell Glenn there's nothing we can do. Leave it alone.
Well, at least we can look into it and address it with a nice note back, but I think Henry,
We can say we
I-
like it.
I recall this discussion happening, but and Dave, you might be correct in terms of if it's involves some sort of registration with deep or something, I don't know.
Yeah, but we already have one. I would think this is just maintenance and replace or repair, isn't it? Isn't that what it's
I
considered?
think so. Jackie, stop it.
Why can't we just get the one that's there painted with the modern?
Yeah, but I mean,
diamond.
yeah, but whether we replace it or maintain it, I wouldn't think we would need any DEP approvals. It's not an incremental add.
I think we have to ask Henry because he's involved in this.
Yeah,
Okay.
Okay.
You know what happens when you get lawyers involved?
Woo-wee.
Better than getting the state involved.
Yeah, good point. All right.
And then the other part of that was that the boat launch. Asking us if, in fact, we wanted Public Works to make that deeper. That,
Well,
I would think that would be
It'll
pretty
be-
difficult, wouldn't it?
Yeah,
That's a
I think.
yeah, that's a big undertaking.
That's a
Yeah,
major,
and I think
We
the
also
only
don't,
reason.
we also don't hear, we also don't have people belly aching about it when the water's up at the right height.
Right,
no,
I mean,
right.
just
It's
low
only
this
like that
year, so it's a
because the
problem.
water was low.
just so you know, the representative of the fishing group, Hal, was very adamant that the best fishing is when the lake is low, and he would like the launch extended so the fishermen can get in. They know the lake, they know where not to go, and that's the best fishing there is.
Hmm.
And he swore I promised him that when the lake was low, I would not deny the fishermen access to the lake.
Well,
So-
I mean,
Well, tell them to send us a check and we'll get it done.
And I don't know what it would take to
yeah,
add to the asphalt so you get another 4 feet extension.
Wow.
you need to do concrete, but you can't do anything until next year anyhow.
Right,
You know, we're
it's
gonna
not
lower it.
anything we're gonna do for a while.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
not asphalt, Mark, it's a concrete slab.
Right.
Okay,
That theoretically could be extended another 20 feet or something like that, and that might help in low water.
I think in the past, they extended the concrete, but you need to be deeper because the water, it just gets flat. And once you get in a certain way out, it's flat. And almost got to go beyond the pier when the water's low to
Okay.
launch your boat.
So
So you
Beyond
need
the
to almost
pier?
put a pocket in the ground, and I don't think that's
Well,
possible.
I
We
don't
should
wanna
have-
do that.
When the
we can
water's
evaluate
2 feet
that. We
low,
can-
You gotta get out there.
We should just evaluate it in the fall when we lower the water,
Right,
Yep.
Right.
and then we can give them an answer.
and work with Public Works
Yeah, so let's
to get their
let's do that.
expertise and a
let's-
town engineer.
So okay, so do we want
The
to?
only way to do it would be to put a pocket behind the boat ramp that's 2 or 3 feet deep, but it would end
Yeah.
up filling up, even if it was concrete. It would probably end up filling up with sand and stone and gravel.
I was gonna
It'd be pretty
say,
difficult to do.
But
even if you dredge it, it'll come back.
yeah, we should just hold this until we can get pictures and get an evaluation in the fall, and then we can say yay or it can't be.
Well-
Yes, it can be done, or no, it can't be.
let
Here,
me,
here.
let me bring you up to speed on one thing that'll tie into this. During the mooring analysis, we hired a professional dive team that does mooring analysis for all the major mooring facilities on the shore. They came in, photographed every mooring, and of the 14 moorings, 13 were deficient, like seriously rusting.
Oh dear.
So we replaced all the hardware and all the moorings are up to speed now. But while they were doing that, they photographed with video around our pier. And we have some major undermining of the pier, especially at the end.
Oh boy.
So we pulled out all the documents and the building inspector is not that concerned because the actual foundation we poured is substantial. But he's going to take a dive tomorrow with snorkel gear and look at it. And we're getting an evaluation from the mooring company as to what they would do. But we have to pack back in the undermining at the end of the pier and then probably add riprap or something around the pier to stop the undermining. So we have some issues we just discovered. And that might tie into extending
Mhm.
the boat launch if we do a major project to fix everything.
You're here.
Mark, is it
Welcome.
erosion or?
Yeah, it's erosion.
Okay,
It's
it's not
natural
winter.
erosion under the footing.
Wow.
Okay.
How old is that pier, Mark?
It's only
Curious.
6 years old,
Oh my God.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
brand
Wow.
new.
right? Because it was put in right before I joined. I've been here 5 years.
Okay.
I believe they set it on a big giant block of cement from the original pier.
Right.
There was a big piece there that was sticking out.
Yes.
People were worried about it.
Triangle, yeah,
So that's not
pie-shaped
gonna move.
triangular
They could
piece.
move that with an excavator.
But once the
So-
building inspector saw how big the footing was, he wasn't concerned about the external erosion, but it's something we need to address.
Cool.
And we'll figure it out.
Mike, we can't hear you.
We'll leave the marker item open for further review and under old business, and we will we'll leave the boat launch ramp evaluation open under old business as a continuing item.
And now the pier.
And now the pier.
So we have
Okay.
3 things to look at.
Yeah, it makes sense to tie those two together, so.
Right.
All right. Any other communications?
I have
Um,
one, oops, go ahead, Mary.
Well, I don't know if this is communications or access, safety and regulations. I had this brought to my attention. Let me try to describe what I am describing third party by a couple of people. And Mark, I think you probably would have information on this. I believe it's a lake management issue because it's use of the lake in terms of swimming, but it's also use of the town beach. It's been described to me that there's a tremendous amount of nighttime activity at the town beach with use of swimming in the lake. Upwards from 40 to 75 people, when lifeguards leave, are using the beach for swimming and fishing. There's no monitoring. The parking gate has been left open. The lifeguards and Marine Patrol have been told to have a blind eye and not address any issues. The first duty of the next day is cleaning up the alcohol and trash by the lifeguards. And at least on one, maybe 2 occasions, state police have been summoned. I guess the question being asked by the person who communicated it, the 2 people, what is the town's position on the use of the town beach after hours? And what's the liability to the town and the potential safety if after hours someone gets harmed in some way?
I mean,
Mark,
I think
You're
we're
on
gonna need
mute.
our town attorney to tell us that, but the town, I mean, it's
I'll-
always been open after hours for swimming, as long as I can remember.
Right, but I don't think we're expecting, I've never heard of 45 to 75 people being there after hours. So that's
Right.
something
Nor,
I've got to
I
look
agree.
into.
Yeah,
I can see a family of 4 going down to have fun, but if it's a major party, that's a problem and we'll have to use our
Are they-
cameras to figure that out.
Wouldn't the
Yeah.
videos?
Are they saying these 45 people are all together?
No, that there are groups of cars that are showing up even before lifeguards leave now, between 5:30 and 6:30, and freely using the beach without
But-
any monitoring.
but individuals, not like a
Correct.
party. Yeah,
Families, individuals, whatever.
yeah, okay.
And I
family.
asked for a number. I said, how many? Minimum of 40. There was one evening when it looked like a huge party of 70 people. Okay.
Do we know
This
if
is
they're from
third
town?
Don't have that answer. There was a town resident who did address a Marine Patrol person, who clearly was a town resident. And Mark, I think you're aware of that and took care of that issue. Because he was complaining and thunder and lightning. Marine Patrol came off the lake, but the boats
right.
didn't. And
Yeah, he was they were asked for the family to leave and he fought Marine Patrol
right.
that they weren't concerned about the lightning. Marine Patrol said, no, you have to leave the water. So the new rule I made with Marine Patrol is if there's thunder and lightning, you have to get out of the water. Period.
And Marine Patrol did their job and told all 4 boats that they should leave. But it's up to the boats if they choose to stay on.
Right.
Marine Patrol
But
did come off.
on the beach, I told Mark Bolza to make sure Marine Patrol has the same authority as lifeguards when clearing the beach, that if it's an unsafe condition, they can clear the beach.
There is concern that there's a fair amount of alcohol and trash being picked up by the lifeguards. And therefore we have alcohol being used on a town beach unmonitored.
But can't we have our resident trooper swing by there a few times, especially on warm nights?
Yeah, that'd be if the resident trooper worked nights. He doesn't.
He doesn't.
Ah,
So you'd have to call this in when you see it happening and report it to the barracks and have a roving policeman covering 4 towns swing by our town beach.
it's not going to happen.
I thought that was the reason for having a resident.
No, the reason to have you'd have to have 2 resident troopers, 1 night shift, 1 day shift. We have the
No, I know.
bare
I'm just saying.
minimum of 1 trooper.
I would have thought they would take a couple mornings off and work
No.
a little later a couple days.
They will do that if I say, all right, I'm concerned about 4th of July. It's hitting on a Sunday. Will you change your shift? And he'll do it in a second and work it. But
Gotcha.
it doesn't mean because we have a resident trooper, he'll swing over there at night when he's off.
I'm not saying when he's off, if you've, I'm just saying, if we see there's a problem or this is growing, this continues to be a huge group, just to double check, not to stop the people from going, but just to make sure there's no alcohol or something.
Here's the key. I
something
need
like
to be notified that it's happening at that moment, and I'll call it into the barracks and ask for a trooper to come down.
Can't
So-
anybody call it in?
The
Or do you have to?
point is, when I hear it 2 weeks later, it's useless.
Right.
I need to know it's happening that second, and I'll call the barracks and say, would you please send an officer down? We have a party with alcohol at our town beach.
Well, hey, can I just pipe in here? I live right next to the town beach. I'm right to the left, and I usually can hear when there's these types of events. So I hop on my bike, I ride over. Late June, there was an event there. There were many cars parked in the lot and on Lake Road, probably over 45 people, to Mary's point. So I hopped on my bike. I said, well, usually maybe something's going on with the town. Maybe there's a band down there. Maybe there's a little, town party, but none of that was happening. What it appeared to be was a graduation party. The lifeguards were still there. It's probably 5:30, 6:30, something like that. Some of the lifeguards were still there. I don't know where Marine Patrol was, but I didn't see any alcohol. Although there were coolers that I didn't see, I didn't see anything open. But those kind of events are happening, probably to a lesser than 45 people, but there's definitely a lot of people down there,
Okay.
especially in the warmer weather too. It's
Yeah.
kind of.
Thanks, Bob.
In the past, there was a gate that was closed by Marine Patrol at the end of the shift. that led
Right.
to The upper parking lot. Before that gate closed, the Marine Patrol would walk up and down the beach and notify people that they're going to close the gate in 10 minutes and they had. So the
I don't
sign
think that's happening.
said the beach closed at sunset.
Bob, didn't they just move their car to the trailer parking though? Or what'd they do?
Because they get a ticket.
Oh, okay. If they put their car, they'd get a ticket?
Right.
Yeah, when the gate was being locked, there were cars that were strapped in there.
Not that many.
Some people actually tried to get out and did some damage.
Oh, boy.
They were all given notice by the Marine Patrol, closed in 10 minutes, and they had to move their cars. I personally did it. I walked up and down the beach, told every single person on the beach that the beach was closed after sunset, because that's what the sign used to say. There's a new sign now that doesn't have any regulations on it. The old sign used to say that the beach was closed at sunset.
Yeah.
So is this to the point of a big enough problem that you want to make a recommendation to Board of Selectmen that we go back to shutting the gate? Because we haven't been doing that.
You know, I kind of think we should evaluate it more.
By Public Works. I think the gate that is used for the boat ramp was the gate that was at the parking lot.
No, there's still a gate at the parking lot. We can close off the parking lot.
But you have to post when the beach closes then. You have to
Right.
tell people.
This would be a whole process that would have to go through the Board of Selectmen.
Yeah, the new sign that was built, installed, I think it was this year or last year, eliminated all the notifications that it would close at sunset, there's no alcoholic beverages, no dogs, all those things that we want on the beach, but now people aren't notified. Because the old sign had it all there and the new sign doesn't have anything.
Geez, I think we got to be careful of that, because we don't want to look like we're not giving access to the townspeople that don't live on the lake. It'll become the same issue as the gate was for a while. Remember, you know, if we start shutting the gate at 6 o'clock and all of a sudden now people come home from work on this hot days and, you know, it doesn't get dark till 9,
Right.
you know, I think we got to be careful of that and think through it before we go making any kind of regulation like that. It's just going to open a can of worms.
Jim, the way it used to be is the beach closed at sunset. Just as the lake closes at 9 o'clock. Now, you could say that the gate closes at 9 o'clock and the beach closes at 9 o'clock.
Yeah.
So they're the same. The boaters and the beach people are getting the same deal.
Yeah,
Right,
that's
so-
what I'm saying. But I think someone said close it when the lifeguards were leaving,
Well,
which is like 6.
What's
Marine
happening
Patrol.
now, so everybody knows, what we're doing now is when Marine Patrol leaves, Marine Patrol is the last to leave. And the gate monitor and the Marine Patrol leave together now. So we could shut the gate at whenever sunset is, 8:30, you know, as it moves. We could shut the gate at sunset and clear everybody out, which would be reasonable.
I think it's safety. Also, it's a safety issue to have someone down there doing whatever at dark. It just doesn't make sense to me. And we have all this video monitoring equipment, et cetera. I think it's reasonable that sunset be the marker that it was. I mean,
Now,
we're going
Robert-
back to what Bob had mentioned.
Robert, can I give you my cell phone in case there's like a major party there and you can get a hold of me?
Yeah, certainly. Yep.
Okay, so it's 860-917-4654.
You
And
know, you were
please call,
taped, right, Mark?
please call me because Mary brings me up to speed. What?
Mark, do you have to be the one to call the state police? Or can't anybody
Well,
as a,
Anyone can call the normal number, but I have a little more
You're gonna get-
access. But
Yeah,
you
you're gonna
could
get a
call the
response.
barracks. Anyone
Yeah.
can call the barracks and just say, hey, this is going on.
you're gonna get more of a response is what you're saying, right?
Interesting.
I don't know. I just have more contacts. That's all.
Don't
Yeah.
forget that the
Yeah.
police will only show up if they have nothing better to do.
Well,
This is low on the priority list. If there's an accident, if there's a speeding thing, whatever, they're not
correct.
gonna get there for a couple of hours. We've been,
Unless we had our own police force with a night shift. You're correct, Bob.
Has there been a continuing problem, you know, since graduations and stuff have been over, or was it just early? Because I mean, with these hot nights, of course, the weather probably chased people out, but I wonder. I mean, I don't live far from it. I don't mind taking a walk over there a couple nights a week just to check it out and just see if there are large gatherings, you know what I mean, that have continued or not.
Yeah, Jimmy, I haven't seen a lot. I mean, I'm here. I mean, I can hear them right in my house if they're there. That's how close I am. But it's been minimal, I would say. You know, occasionally you get a car in at 10 o'clock at night with some kids and they'll make a little noise, but it doesn't seem to be anything lengthy or anything that's, out of line, I would say.
Organized or anything else, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so maybe it's not as bad as, there was a couple of those events that were planned, the graduation events that what we're talking about.
Well, I think we
Yeah.
have monitors and we have lifeguards that we can ask.
Yeah, I think the
Because-
warmer weather too, Jim, the
Yeah.
hot humidity, that it's been a heat spell here.
Well, and
Yeah.
people are just, coming out of COVID, this spring, people are.
Yeah,
probably
that's a good point too.
That's
people,
that's a good point, Mike.
But I don't think it's just this year. I mean, we've been coming home from the other side of the lake in a car and have seen activity on that beach. Not just, over the past couple of years. So I'm sure it's up and down. But this was brought forward to me by two people and they asked me to address it at LMAC. So there you have it.
All right.
Okay.
Okay.
Michael, I do have a question, another one on communication.
Sure.
Some time ago, back in 2012 it was, and I went back and I looked through our notes, that we addressed the issue of boat registrations. And what I understand, and Mark, I don't know if this has to come from the Board of Selectmen, maybe to the Department of Motor Vehicle, but apparently when you go to register your boat, you write in whatever the horsepower is on your boat. It's not DMV that writes it in, you write it in. And so it's open for whether or not that registration, if the boat is over the horsepower that we allow on the lake. And apparently there are some issues with some boats still over the horsepower on the lake because they're allowed to write in their own horsepower. There's nothing that's coming from the manufacturer to DMV where DMV puts it on the registration.
Motor,
So the question came to me, can the Board of Selectmen make any recommendation to DMV and have DMV start putting this information on the
What?
registration? Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know how DMV would know that.
there's a very easy way to track down the horsepower. It's with the boat identification number, which
The
is
VIN
on
number? Yeah.
all boats.
Yeah.
It usually lists what the horsepower is.
And
Yeah,
it's,
Well, that and the engine, you gotta.
yeah, I was
go-
gonna say,
I was gonna say, can't you look
It's
at
even-
the engine?
it's even easier just to look at how many cylinders it has. If it's 4 cylinders, it's a 130. If it's
Thank
6
you.
cylinders,
Yeah, but
it's a 160.
If you're using the VIN, you could repower your boat right after you bring it out of the showroom.
Yes.
And you go to register it, you got a 115 on there, you're quoting a 75 on your reg, you're good to go, and you're twice as fast as anybody on Columbia Lake. That's what's
Ah.
happening probably.
Well, that was the question that I was addressing because I had a couple of people ask me about it and I said, I'll bring it up at LMAC.
So you can't just look at an engine and the engine will say 75 or 135?
Well, yeah, you could have a 75 horsepower identified on a 115 engine.
Yeah.
Oh,
Cover.
People
You can
change
actually
stickers.
change the stickers pretty easy too.
oh my
Yeah.
God in heaven.
There's many ways that people
Well-
are getting by this rule.
Isn't this a very small minority of
Very small.
issues that we're having, that we don't have to worry about the entire lake? We have to worry about just a few boat owners?
Thank you.
I think you're right, Mark. I
Yeah,
think
and
you're
we've
right.
already addressed one of them, and we've addressed it in writing, that his
Yeah.
boat is not allowed on the lake because we know it's overpowered.
Wow. Okay, good.
So I think,
Yeah.
I'll get the message.
I don't think
out.
we have a giant problem.
Yeah, I think you're right, Mark. Yeah. No, their insurance company won't cover them if they ever get in an accident. If they've changed the information. But I don't think it's many people, if any,
And I think if you see a boat ripping down the lake that's obviously overpowered, notify Marine Patrol and we'll do an investigation, pull them over and get the VIN number and figure it out. The jet skis are probably your biggest problem because they're all overpowered now. I don't think you can buy a jet ski that's
Yeah, there's one model,
No, you can't.
that meets our requirements.
right.
There's
So
one
basically,
GTI.
any new jet ski is probably overpowered.
Wow.
Well,
Oh, you should see them on the Connecticut River. They are so fast and they are clueless as to what the regulations are.
Well,
It's horrible.
they're not
They're-
called They're not called jet skis for nothing, right?
Correct. A lot of them are from Long Island. Let me just say that. It looks like Jersey Shore when I pull them all over on the river.
So we can't monitor jet skis like we would a boat,
Oh, you do.
Yeah.
It's just,
but we
what's
gotta throw
happening
them
is
all off.
people don't understand the regulations and they buy a new jet ski and they're shocked that it can't go in our lake.
Oh, God bless America. Okay.
And they're
Agreed.
very, very powerful and very fast.
But I think, Mark, to your point earlier, that's not a huge majority of people.
No.
You know?
I don't think it matters whether it's 1 or 20. Somebody's not legal, they can't be on the lake.
I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is that, if we find out, we would address it. But I don't think it's something that we go out and start checking every boat out there because of it.
Correct.
If there have been complaints, the complaints should be submitted to Mark. He can then get Marine Patrol to do the investigation.
Correct. And that's how we handle it.
Of course.
When I get a complaint, we do an investigation and we figure it out.
Yeah, on an individual basis, right.
Right.
You're here. Good plan.
You know, the other way to approach this too is when you do the initial inspection, when you're putting your boat in, a lot of times Marine Patrol will just look at the registration. They won't check the VIN number. They won't check the horsepower serial number, the model number, or anything. They don't. I'm living proof.
These
They don't do it.
They're supposed
They don't
Bobby,
check ours.
these are kids, you know?
I know. My point is that's how these bigger boats are getting in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, it
That's
is a small
concern.
population, I agree, but that's probably a loophole that's allowing them to get on the lake,
Or they have a key.
or they have a key.
Yeah.
Well, just so you know too, we've hired some ex-police to be on Marine Patrol and we're using them for our difficult issues because they have more training.
Difficult clients.
Yes, yes, and that's working well because they
A little
have the
more
training
persuasive.
to have a serious conversation.
Jimmy, are you on that list? I'm just kidding.
Check his-
Okay.
Check his
All
boat tomorrow.
right, so is this item closed?
Until I hear some more specific answers, it's a real problem. I'll stay on it with Mark Volza and we'll make sure we keep checking hard. But Robert had a good idea that maybe we need to actually do a little more cross-checking. I know Bob Powell used to also cross-check in his investigation. So I'll see if that's happening.
Okay.
Nobody got by Powell.
No way.
No, I never did.
And I tried. Hmm.
Oh,
Okay.
dear.
All right,
Okay.
guys.
On that
Thank you.
note, moving along. Phyllis, to answer your question directly, I think, the consensus is that, if I'm hearing everybody, is that going to DMV and asking for a statewide policy change is probably not warranted, nor is it really practical, given this discussion. So, okay. So, Jim, you were.
Well, I just had a question. I don't know if this comes under communication, but are we going to continue Zoom meetings or when do we?
Yeah, when can we?
I was going to ask that. When are we going to?
When can we go live?
When
Yeah.
can we go live? Maybe start out with on the lake. Start out with a lake night.
There you go.
Mark, any comments on that?
Well, sure, because what we have now available that I've set up in this hybrid mode we're in is that I can launch a meeting from our conference room. Anyone can attend in person. And if you want to attend just the way we are, you come in through Zoom. So whatever works, I can do a hybrid meeting where some are in the conference room and some are from Zoom. The town residents can come in from Zoom. I have purchased a giant screen TV so you can see just like we're looking on our monitor in the conference room. So it's pretty cool. If
Can we
you
do
wanna
karaoke?
switch- No karaoke, no entertainment.
Yeah, Mike's first.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank
can-
you.
We can go back to a hybrid meeting whenever you want.
All right.
Oh,
With that said, does anybody want to make a motion to move to a hybrid meeting?
motion. let us move LMAC meetings back, well, towards the normalcy of a hybrid meeting.
I
Second.
second that.
Second
Bob.
that. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Here, here.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? All right, so
You have
moved.
to, you just have to keep the meetings to an hour and a half max.
Yeah, right.
That's my request.
I'm all
That's-
about that.
That's up to
Thank
you,
you.
Mike.
No.
Thank you.
Good, good.
So we're gonna call that, we'll see you next month.
Okay.
All right, so next month we will move to a hybrid format.
So
And
just so
meeting-
everybody's clear, if you want to stay at home and join the meeting, you just do the normal link in like you're doing now. If you want to come to the conference room, you come like normal.
Okay,
And you can all remain to be voting members, whichever route you go.
okay,
Cool.
sounds great.
Where's the meeting held?
At the Town Hall Conference Center,
Coventry.
at Coventry Lake at the Lakeside Restaurant,
Thank
right?
you, Jimmy. Maybe that's a better option. I'll second that.
I know.
Jim buys the first round.
I'm in.
And the second, and the second.
Yeah.
Is
Now you're
that the
pushing it.
You'll have attendance at 7 that way, Mike.
Is that the Rolling Rock meeting? Is that
Yeah,
the-
right, right.
Right.
All
Oh,
right, okay, so moving along. Thank you for bringing that up, Jim. That was good stuff. The dam, how are we doing on the dam?
Um,
Oh, yeah,
You're on mute.
You're on mute, David, I think. Hi, David.
David,
Back?
there we go.
There you
All
go.
right. I was at the dam at 4 o'clock and we were -2.5. And
okay.
I believe it came up at least another 1.5 inches during this last storm. So we're almost full. We're very
Awesome.
close to going over the spillway now. So we're almost full and the water's pretty clear. The water temperature has been up to as high as 80 and it was down to 74 the other day. And the weep holes are normal, about 5% and 7%. And they, I believe, cleared out the sluiceway. Most of the debris is out of there and there's just a pile of leaves in there now.
Yes, Public Works came in and cleared it out.
Yeah, it looks good. Yep, that's it.
We also hired an engineering firm. We're doing our normal dam safety inspection, which is required by our insurance company. So that report just got to the Public Works Director, so we'll be filing that with the insurance company shortly.
Great.
Okay.
Can we get a copy of that,
Yes,
please?
yes.
Great, thank you.
And all is good, Mark, on the dam?
There were a few issues and I haven't been told what they are, so stay tuned.
Thank
All
you.
right.
Okay.
So, water quality, any reports?
Nothing came into me.
I'm sorry I did not access, but I do have a general word report from Ben Burpee at Ecosystem that in June, our water quality via SESHI testing is spot on, and he does not have any analysis back yet in terms of the chemical analyses that they do on a monthly basis. But I think it was 5.8 meters. I mean, it was significant.
Nice. Okay,
On water quality, we just had one spike June 28th of E. coli, but June 29th it went back to normal
Whew.
levels. So
okay,
normally they say it's not uncommon to have a spike. And as long as it comes right back down, they don't need to shut the beach.
Phew, good.
So that's all I know.
great. All right, fishing,
Nope.
all right. Access, safety, and regulations.
Um,
We have the,
do you want to wait until we get to old business about the question you asked me to research on the Eridoni swimming area? Or do you want to discuss that during access and safety?
we can discuss it now because I actually have something else in that item. So why don't you want to start with that, Phyllis?
Sure. I went back to 2011 and 2012. And at that point, under access and safety, it said that there was a recommendation from Marine Patrol to close Aridoni swimming area. That was the recommendation. And then the second half of that is that we don't invite people to come in over the markers on the road, and come to find out there were no markers on the road to tell people not to park there, that no access to the beach. But then later on, in 2016, we came back and said, no, Aridoni is going to be an open area for swimming, but then we need a 100-foot marker to mark it for swimmers. So where are we is the question. I don't know where we are on this.
The no parking signs are along the street. There's vertical posts that are about every 15 feet that have been driven into the ground.
Correct.
There's a 100-foot
Breaking up, Bob.
there's a 100-foot swimming area that's also been installed.
Yeah, I'm
Right, so-
not sure it's 100 feet anymore. It's-
Actually, Mary, I question that, and I think what caused the issue was they secured it up on the guardrail too high,
Yep,
and we fixed that because it was a trip hazard, and we brought the beach back to securing it below ground level. And the buoys and the ropes have never been changed. It's the same buoys you use every year. So I don't know how the size of the swim area would change.
yeah, and Mike Armstrong brought that up. I don't know the history, other than when the lake is drawn down, you see the anchor, the big
Right.
anchor.
They
for
haven't
the
moved.
buoys and things, unless somebody's moving them, and they're pretty, there's a couple 100 pounds there, I'll bet. So I don't know if it's supposed to be at 100 foot per some 2016. I don't know what it is, quite
Because
frankly.
really, that beach is really designed for moms to come down with their little teeny kids and just play in the water and keep boats away from them.
Well, and it's historically been a right of way. I'm saying historically, not legally, for those who live across the street or within the neighborhood.
Right.
That's
And
what
I
we
was
That's how it's
warned,
used.
Yeah,
was
that was
warned-
stated in 2016. I'm
I
just,
was
Okay.
warned by the mothers that were all there when I asked all these questions, that if we ever dared remove that beach, there'd be another 1,000 signed petitions that stopped the last time we investigated closing the beach.
Yes,
So
I would suspect that may happen.
just putting that out.
Yeah, so one of the things that beach invites, I don't know if you want to call it a regular occurrence, but I've seen it in a number of times. And there was an issue that I heard about the other night where there's a fair amount of people that find it entertaining to swim from that beach out to the island.
Absolutely.
Oh,
And
great.
so two of them almost got killed the other night because there was a boat out running around in that area, and all anyone can see when they're driving is, two heads sticking out of the water, and they swim far beyond the ropes to get to the island, and they basically swim in the navigable water. It's
Any
there's an issue.
recommendations, Mike, of signage that if you swim out past the ropes, you will be hit by a boat and die?
I mean,
That's direct.
No,
that
you have a rule, you're not supposed to swim more than 100 feet from shore.
yeah.
Right.
So
That's the rule right now,
yeah.
but people visiting go out. You see that a
Well,
lot. when-
Do we need a signage
Someone
that
has a
says
party.
swimming past 100 feet will most likely cause you to be killed by a boat?
Result in death.
No, but
I don't-
maybe,
I don't know that it needs to read that exactly, but
Or you'll be the winner of the Darwin Award for
yeah,
your,
right, exactly.
Isn't that what the-
Life
Isn't
and
that why the
danger.
buoys are there?
Yeah, so you know, I don't know if we're looking at some of these, you know, buoys, the standard,
Yeah, do
inland
we need one
waterway.
that says swimming past this buoy will endanger your life?
yeah, or swim area, you know, restricted, I don't know. I mean, something, I
Don't
just.
they know that?
No,
No.
Yeah.
people are, I, it's,
No.
it's mind boggling that I patrol the Connecticut River and watch families pulling 4 kids in the channel with deep sea fishing vessels going through the channel at 30 knots, blowing a 5-foot wake.
Yeah,
And
Yep.
they don't understand that their entire family could be killed.
yeah.
So
Yeah,
there's-
Mike, I concur with you. It's Erdoney Road Beach, but it's also, there are 2 homes that happened in the last 2 weeks, one in Upper Erdoney and one on Lower Erdoney, who folks without a boat swam out to that marker, that island marker. So I think it's bigger than Erdoney Road. However, some sort of signage appropriately at Erdoney Road is, you know, swimming area within whatever, or some sort
Buoys,
of marker that says, do not swim past this area.
Yeah.
I don't think
Isn't
these
that
kids
what buoys
realize
are
it.
for, though? Don't buoys say that? I mean, that's why.
Yeah.
they're just
Right
swim
now,
buoys.
Right
They're
now,
just
that,
swim buoys.
that, you can't even swim in that swim area because it's so shallow. So if you wanted
Right.
to make a swimming lane out
It's,
farther, it
They're
would
going
have to
further
be
out.
out beyond 100 feet.
it's
you
a
know what I mean?
kiddie swimming
So
area.
that might keep
Correct.
people in, but I doubt it.
It's for little
You're right,
kids to
Dave.
swim.
It really is.
Yeah.
It's for the family to
It's
cool
for a
off.
family to have a picnic with their little children,
Yeah.
to keep boats from running in the motor. That's all.
But in the past, it was a lot bigger than it is now. It was probably double, maybe 3 times bigger at one time
But
because you
when
could
you say
swim. at
past,
one
is that
time.
25
It was a
years
long time
ago? When those ropes are
Yeah,
long gone?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, a long time ago. Yeah,
Well, Mike lived or grew up on this lake, and he said the same thing. When he was a kid, that was a much
Yeah.
larger area. So we're talking, he's got a little gray in him, maybe 20 years.
So most likely when we re-bought new ropes, they made it smaller, and I have no idea when that happened.
Yeah. You may want to consider extending it a little, Mark,
Okay.
like
Those,
measuring it to 100
those
feet.
piles of rocks that they tied the ropes on, I think those were side markers, and now they became, the end markers too.
Corner,
There's
yeah.
probably, if you went out there, to be more out there. I don't
All
know.
right,
for
so
sure.
when we do the drawdown, we'll reevaluate, and we could add that to our old business of making it a legitimate, bigger, safer swim area.
Well, that and maybe just some warning signs.
Right.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
uh,
Because
You
I-
will be killed.
Yeah, we also got to be careful the channel that we leave between the buoy, the new buoys and the island. Because when a couple boats go past each other there, if you wouldn't want to bottleneck that too much.
right.
Well,
Oh, you're not gonna.
the other
It's off
problem
to the side quite a
we
bit.
had to address with some boat operators was they were using that Erdoney Beach to dump all their family picnic stuff by road and then use the boat to pick up small children and launch them for water skiing from the shore.
Correct.
So they were getting way too close to the beach due to
Yeah.
a desire to have a shore launch for their kids.
Got it.
Mark, that was last year. I think it
Right.
was perhaps COVID related because those were not your normal neighborhood people. They just saw, oh, we can drive right over the ropes with our boat, drop our kids and our
Right.
ice chest off and be there all day.
So we addressed that. I think that's done.
Yes, we did. When you
Okay.
told them they had to be 100 feet away from the beach, those people left.
Okay,
It
good.
was 2 boats and they're gone. We haven't seen them all year.
Good.
Okay, all right. And then as far as access and safety, we have the June report. 127 stickers were issued in the month of June to boats passing inspection. 201 non-motorized vessels that passed inspection. 2 boats turned away, 1 over horsepower and the other was a non-resident. On the boat, 4 warnings were given. Oh, on the patrol boat, 4 warnings were given for various reasons, safety and tubing issues. There were 2 tows this month, one being a boat with One being a boat, the other a loose floating dock. Oh, okay. So,
We still have it.
okay. 0 police involvement, 6 warnings. So, all right.
One quick thought, and this might have just been, people forgot. Mark, would you consider, the Board of Selectmen, whoever has to make this decision, that the Marine Patrol have holiday hours on the actual holidays, such as 4th of July? There were some things going on, 11 o'clock, 1 o'clock, whatever, and Marine Patrol Monday didn't come on until 5 o'clock. So if it's a holiday, can we have them on 11 to 9 versus 5 to 9?
So are you saying on July 4th, we didn't have anybody until 5?
July 5th,
Yeah.
July 5th, the actual
In the
celebration of the holiday. You
in the
know,
past, when there's been holidays on the Monday, there was a weekend schedule, same as the weekend schedule. It did not
okay,
happen this year.
so historically that's what we had, Bob?
Yeah.
Okay, I got a couple inquiries about where's Marine Patrol. I said,
So they weren't on till 5 o'clock in the evening?
they didn't go on till 5.
That doesn't sound right.
Either that
I
or
mean, I will
Well,
look
she
into it.
she validated it because I asked her, what time did you come on? She said 5 o'clock. I said,
Was
okay.
there someone before her shift?
No.
Nope.
Okay, I'll look into it.
That day, there were people swimming out to the island.
Yes, I think that was one of the texts that I got. It
From
was
Arizona?
actually,
So that's
Yeah.
when that was happening?
it was, and we sent the name of where it came from, where the family of 7, 2 little kids swimming out to the island from Erdoney Road, not the beach, from a home.
Okay.
Crazy,
Okay, thank you.
yeah. But
All right.
Mark Vosa has the names, so.
All right, good.
May I ask another question under towing? I had somebody say to me that there was difficulty that they were told that Marine Patrol, which I see here, there were 2 tows, but that Marine Patrol would not tow boats that broke down. Now, I don't know where they got that information from, but that's what they were told. We don't have any such regulation under Marine Patrol. You will not tow a boat that's broken down out on the lake.
I need to investigate. I know we've had issues in the past where Marine Patrol has tried to help tow a boat and it ended up in a lawsuit when the boat crashed into the pier.
Oh, geez.
And a baby was launched. So it's probably situational in the decision-making as to whether a tow is reasonable due to wind and all sorts of conditions, but I'll check on what our standard Marine Patrol policy is at the moment.
Okay.
Because we're not a boat tow, but anytime we can help, they do. But if it's a very large pontoon boat and the conditions are wrong, we might not be able to help.
So what do you do? Let the boat just float?
Well, and that's where I'll find out. I don't
Okay.
know.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Are we complete with access, safety, and regulations? All right. Watershed management plan. Anything there? All right. Stormwater culverts. Any items?
I think we can defer until what's next, August. I'd like to talk to Jim. I've talked a little bit to Mike about a priority recommendation as to what we should address first, because we have some sediment issues, particularly going directly into the Erdoney Road inlet. So I would like to talk to the subcommittee first and then make a motion or proposal next for the August meeting.
So we'll
And-
table it.
Mary, can you help me
Table.
set up a meeting with you and Mike and the subcommittee and Beth Lunt?
That would be helpful.
Yeah, I think we need an official town LMAC key representatives to meet and really review that, because I've been meaning to reach out to Mike and just haven't had time.
Yeah, and Mike, as Jim, is very knowledgeable about what used to be, what's happening, why so much runoff is coming right down Lake Road, that hill, Utley
Right.
Hill, we call
I
it.
think we need to probably even have an engineering firm look at that and come up with
Yeah.
some recommendations. So let's start that process.
Okay, okay,
you.
so table it and we'll meet with the town before August. meeting.
Good.
Okay. Dam emergency plan.
That's almost complete, and I'll get a copy to the whole board when it's done.
Okay. And permit review.
We had one permit application for a mooring.
It got passed last night at Board of Selectmen.
So the application was for Michael Boyle at 82 Route 87. Phyllis, I'll send you a copy of the recommendation that we made. So you have.
Thank you. Yep. Thank you very much, Bob.
Budget.
You
Well,
you have
Yeah,
a budget.
Mark, go ahead. We
You
have a budget.
You have $19,043 to do your both. We agreed tonight that will be divided with ecosystem consulting services and monitoring at $16,043, and $3,000 will be put in the Yukon Lab budget line item for testing.
For analysis.
Right, for analysis. So that's the bulk of your budget. And then we had also cut aquatic control. Mary, do we know if they've what's the weed we have that we've been killing for 2 cycles?
Oh, Phragmites, so far so
Phragmites.
good.
Do you
Yeah,
know if it's dead?
I kayaked over there and I haven't seen anything substantial. No, I haven't seen anything.
Good.
I don't know if there was some in front of Woodland, but we thought we got most of it. If anybody's
I think the other thing you have is $2,000 for equipment.
correct.
So that'll be equipment to help offset some of the monitoring we want to do in oxygen and depth and whatever you decide.
Correct. And Henry is not on this call, but he has an email from Ecosystem. They may be able to give him a used one for him to test it out before we purchase anything.
Oh, great.
So just FYI, Henry's pursuing that.
Good.
All right.
Mark, thanks for doing this RFP with Ecosystem. It's the most clarity I think we've ever had in a Cortland.
What
effort.
we're actually purchasing. I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You know, and it's nobody's fault. I just
No,
think it's nice that we.
right, right.
It's just all of us communicating as to what we're trying to accomplish and making
Right.
sure we're spending our money correctly.
Yep. thank you.
Yeah, to that, moving forward for the year 2021 to 2022, just one comment, we can talk about it in August, and I'll have a draft by then. I think previous to this, we have talked about getting a request for proposal out to several firms beyond Ecosystem, including Ecosystem, for water quality management on an annual basis. I spoke with Mark about this based on minutes from others' meetings, of which one I missed. So I don't have all the data, but we are ready to get a template out for requests for proposal for all LMAC members to review. So we can go out and kind of, comparison shop and see, do we need a fresh pair of eyes or are we comfortable with what we have? Ecosystem is under a new company. They are no longer just on their own, and they are being managed differently. And I'm seeing some differences in the management in terms of Cortman communicating less with us, but the new guy, Mark, is going to communicate with you, named Steve Roy, and Ben Burpee is communicating with us also, who's kind of second in command now at Ecosystem from a scientific point of view. So I don't know if that means Cortman is backing off or Cortman, there was some conjecture that Cortman thought we were going to drop him this year. That was admitted to me by Ecosystem, by another employee. That is not the case, obviously. We've demonstrated that as Mark has outlined the budget. But I think moving forward for the year following, to be in line with the town budget, we have to get requests for proposals out. Is
Right,
that
and-
what is that kind of where we all are with this?
Yeah, and you know, it's really looking for best value, right? I mean, it's not,
Yep.
you know, it's, and the scope of the RFP certainly helps that dramatically.
Yep. So that's
Yeah.
why we need all eyes on to say, is this what we want? And then
Yep.
let's go out and get it.
Yeah,
And
what I saw, I'm sorry, Mike, go ahead.
no, go ahead, please.
What I saw in the RP is great, and the only addition I would have is to request that these vendors propose to us a electronic format of data that we can manage on a year-to-year basis.
Yep.
Let them tell us what this should look like. Let them commit to do it in their proposal and commit to add to it each year. I think if we get a proposal from each vendor, we may decide on what the best template is for us.
Mike, can I recommend that the committee create a subcommittee to work with me to put that RFP together?
Absolutely.
I'll
So
be on that.
Could we
Great,
have Carl,
thanks, Carl.
please?
Yeah, Carl already signed up, so.
Yep.
Thank you,
Awesome.
Carl.
And Mary, are you on?
I'm happy to support it if the committee agrees.
Great.
And just to dovetail into that, so that is, there's the subcommittee right there, so thank you. And just to, I guess, follow up on that, are we at a point where we have, for lack of a better term, usable data, you know, looking back?
No,
We're still not at that point. Okay.
it's there.
Yeah.
It's in a different format every year. And I think if we get a template proposal that from these vendors and we land on one, we can probably then go back into these flash drives year by year and fill in that data. But it's just a hodgepodge of stuff that's impossible to, at least for a layman. I don't know what I'm looking at, and it's not organized at all.
Yeah.
So,
And
but if we get a template, we can go back, you know,
Right.
and fill in some of that stuff.
I'll be a little kinder and gentler, just a little, that we probably have it. And there are 5 tables that I have reviewed. It's just here, there, and everywhere, and someone needs to put it together.
Yeah.
But we have great data, some of it going back to 1990. And I'm looking at this stuff going, holy moly, this is good stuff. But, you know, it's in this file and in that file. And I pulled together 5 and sent them to you, Carl. So we're getting there, but why are we doing the work?
Yeah.
No offense.
Well,
Right.
and you know, I don't know if there's if at some point we could, you know, find an intern who's looking for a project or, you know, or something like that. But let's certainly, you know, keep the door open to that, and maybe there might be an opportunity.
That's a great idea. That might be something we reach out to Southern or Eastern or Yukon and say, hey,
Yeah.
you know, if you're an environmental scientist looking to try to get into DEP and want to have a senior project, we got something for you.
You're here.
Yeah.
Good. I like it.
Does anybody have any contacts at any of those Eastern or Yukon or?
I have the name of the gentleman who discovered the Phragmites so many years ago. I'll have to go back in my files and get it. But he's an environmental scientist specific to invasive species.
And
but
I'll ask Min,
Oh, yeah.
Min, who works for DEP, who's a Columbia resident.
Yeah.
He might have some
The goose guy.
connections to interns.
Okay, that'd be a great place to start, you know. But yeah, I mean, that would be amazing if we could find those 5 or 10 data points and just try to gather that data across, you know, by month, by year, whatever we can gather to see what I think, Carl, you had been wanting to really get the ability to see trends in data.
Yeah.
Okay, well, let's leave that as a old business item that we can, you know, continue to follow up on. And it's 8:27. So I
Make a
know,
motion.
yeah. Well, I don't want to, I don't want to gloss over it, but I also don't want to start it right now either. I know we had a fairly a lively discussion about the
Robust.
deep sharing initiative project. So I'd like to table that until next month and but
You're here.
still keep it.
I second.
Regardless of when a decision is made, we can always share data if we choose to.
Yep.
So I think we should table it.
Yep, fair enough. So
And I didn't wear my protectors tonight to, protect me from.
Mary, I got your back. We're all.
Thank you,
I
Mike.
think someone was giving as good as taking.
I still owe you a rolling rock.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm only the paid employee. I'm staying out of.
Yeah, that's right. Not my man, coach. Not my man.
Hey, I hear that enough on the court. Don't give me
Yeah,
a here.
right. So with that said, just before we break, are there any other items that we just want to identify for next meeting?
Oh,
We haven't
let's
covered.
No, I heard we didn't do real well addling eggs. So
You kind of screwed that up.
the geese win one more year in a row.
holy moly. Do you know we have 28 on this lake now?
I know.
28.
We
We're
in
need to go
trouble.
to hunting. That is the only solution. But
Oh,
stay out
Lake
of that one,
management
too.
0, geese 1.
we are
So-
so losing.
Yeah. So I just, I don't know. I've been doing a lot of research lately, and there are a number of deterrents. One of them is using a high-powered laser.
Fry their eyeballs.
Well, no, it seems to. You know how like if you have a cat, or a dog, and they see the laser, on the floor, they kind of respond to
Sure.
it. Well, if this is real, I mean, and I've seen it from a couple of different places, but if this is real, they show the laser. It's a very, very high powered laser, like literally one with a key, like it needs a key to turn it on. And they shine the laser, like even during the day, next to where the geese are, and they take off. So
Wow.
Never heard of that.
yeah. So
I know
There's a-
dogs, and they're delicious. That solves
You'll be ready
most
for
of
them
them.
There's 3 homes on the lake experimenting with something called Stop the Drop.
stop
and
the
it is-
drop. Okay.
I am actually helping a neighbor who can't do it. It's a spray. It's a naturally occurring, won't harm the geese, but gives them GI tract. It's actually a part of rhubarb plant.
You're giving them diarrhea?
Oh my.
So they
that-
get, no, they get a
That's
GI
worse.
distress and they never come back to that area.
Oh my gosh.
I have a question. I have a question for Mark. Why don't you just hire somebody to capture the geese or shoot them? I mean, what's the difference between addling eggs and shooting the geese? In my opinion, there's no difference.
The law,
Battling, no one knows it happened. Shooting, everyone bums out
law.
and panics.
Why don't they just capture them and euthanize them?
we can't do that.
Why not?
It's called state law.
Yeah, I think it's either shoot them or addle them. Those are your options.
You can only shoot them during the season.
Right.
Now,
It has
if
to be
we
during
need-
the hunting season. It can't be in a fit of rage because they just pooped all over your boat.
Well,
All right.
we
On
need a-
that note,
In a bathing suit, running
permit.
after them.
you need a permit and you can't shoot in a residential area. This is considered
You
residential.
have to shoot from the water and it has to be enough foot clearance. They have
Are
to
we
be-
still recording?
yeah, I was
heading
gonna
away.
say, we are.
I move.
We are just identifying
Options.
options for geese deterrent.
Yeah, I don't think you're shooting them on Columbia Lake.
Yeah. Well,
no.
That's not happening.
no one here in this
It's
meeting
suggesting.
is ever suggesting that. We're just saying that we're
It's done
identifying
in other places.
as a need. On
I'll
that
tell you,
note-
it's terrible stuff.
on that note,
I move we adjourn.
entertain. Okay, we have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And we adjourned at 8:32. Good night.
8:32.
Thank you.
Have a good night, everybody.
Good night,